Everybody wants to play with the best players in the world. I would love to go out there and play with, a dude like LeBron James, but you're not going to get those type of opportunities, I don't think.
Unless you wind up on the Lakers, that's right.
Things like that. But
when the Chicago Bulls lost Lonzo Ball to what would end up being a catastrophic and career-changing injury January 14th, 2022, the entire outlook for this team would change, which some would say that it was never even that great to start off with. With a healthy Lonzo Ball, the Bulls did manage to obtain that #1 seed in the Eastern Conference, but even though their record was great, ironically, their team never matched up well with actual contenders. Since the Chicago Bulls put together that unlikely big three that consists of Nikola Vucevic, Zach LaVine, and DeMar DeRozan, the truth is that things have been incredibly bumpy. Since assembling this big three, the Chicago Bulls have gone 90-86 and have no playoff series victories to show for it. Now, don't get me wrong. There's nothing wrong with going 90-86 if you're a rebuilding team or a team whose stars are young. But that isn't exactly the case for the Chicago Bulls. Zach LaVine is 28, Nikola Vucevic is 33, and so is DeMar DeRozan. So you guys can see what I'm getting at here. The Chicago Bulls core isn't exactly getting any younger, and the franchise and its players know this, making this potentially a make or break season for this core who has already had its fair share of problems. And with the season already off to a bad start, there are already reports that this team is plotting the unthinkable. After the Bulls lost by 20 to the Oklahoma City Thunder in their season opener, the Bulls would hold a team meeting. When Billy Donovan walked into this meeting with the intentions to mediate it, the players had no interest in him doing so, which led to him leaving. Though the players were frustrated, it was understood that this meeting was constructive, which was good news. What's bad news is that you don't want to have to be having players-only meetings after the first game of the freaking season. Whatever was said during that players-only meeting wouldn't be enough to change the course of the Bulls season, as Chicago has only continued to struggle, with one of their most recent disappointments coming in the form of a Paolo Banchero game winner before Patrick Williams would inadvertently dribble out the clock. According to reports, the Bulls' slow start to this season has led to tensions running high and, unfortunately, more internal dysfunction, with even players like DeMar DeRozan, who is set to be a free agent this upcoming summer, questioning if he has a future with this team. If players on this roster are already starting to look towards the future, then you know that management is too, and in fact, they are. According to one league source, the Bulls won't have the same roster that they have now in a month, and change feels imminent in Chicago, which means that we could see the Bulls stars such as Nikola Vucevic, DeMar DeRozan, and Zach LaVine all on new teams very, very soon. Which, while we're here, I'm surprised that Zach LaVine has lasted this long in Chicago. LaVine and Bulls head coach Billy Donovan haven't exactly had the best relationship, with LaVine even holding a grudge against him if the reports are true. But even beyond this, the writing has been on the wall for a while now in Chicago. We just haven't been wanting to read it. Ahead of LaVine's 2022 free agency, he made it clear that while he had enjoyed his time in Chicago, that he would be open-minded and plan to enjoy the process with making his decision headed into free agency. As we all know, that same summer, he would go on to sign a 5-year, $215 million max contract, locking him into Chicago for the foreseeable future and killing all noise of a potential LaVine departure, or so we thought. This past summer, we would see rumors surface that the Chicago Bulls actually tried to trade Zach LaVine, but they failed due to their asking price being through the roof. Apparently, the New York Knicks were one of those teams who reached out to the Chicago Bulls earlier this summer to check on that price before leaving negotiations due to pure disgust because of that same asking price. This brings us back to the present, where both LaVine and the Bulls seem bent on greener pastures. In fact, we're at the point now where Zach LaVine isn't even hiding the fact that he's open to a trade. When LaVine was asked if he wanted to stay with the Chicago Bulls a few days ago, he said that right now isn't really the time to talk about that. If something comes out obviously later on, that'll be the time I talk about it. Mind you that he said this being just a day removed from taking this picture. For those who don't know, this picture is Zach LaVine with his infamous agent Rich Paul. Rich Paul runs what agency again, and is whose best friend? That's right, he runs Clutch, and his best friend is LeBron James. So this brings us to our next topic. Who could potentially be interested in trading for Zach LaVine? While the 76ers had expressed interest initially, they currently like their depth that they have now, and at the same time, they don't think that the Bulls' high salary players would be the perfect fit, which makes sense. The Sixers have been hot and one of the best teams in the Eastern Conference, which means that they don't need to rush into a trade that they don't absolutely love. According to Mark Stein, the Miami Heat and the Los Angeles Lakers are more feasible options than the 76ers for Zach LaVine, with both of these teams having a clear need for an offensive infusion. To me, Zach LaVine wanting to play for the Los Angeles Lakers is one of the worst kept secrets in the league. Remember that LaVine has gone on record in the past and made it known that he would love to play with LeBron James, but the opportunity hasn't necessarily presented itself. And I don't know about you guys, but again, to me, this could very well be that opportunity that he was looking for presenting itself. To me, LaVine joining LeBron in Los Angeles does make sense. Mark Stein is right. The Lakers are a team that could desperately use more help on the offensive side of the basketball, which to be honest is in large part a Darvin Ham thing, but there's still no doubt that getting a player like Zach LaVine could help out. LaVine is only a year removed from averaging 24.8 points on 48.5% from the field and 37.5% from the three-point line. If the Lakers didn't have to give up much to get him, his catch-and-shoot profile could fit like a glove next to one of the best playmakers in the game in LeBron James. Now don't get me wrong, I'm not a huge fan of Zach LaVine's contract and do see the downside in a potential Zach LaVine trade if they would have to give up too much to get him. But for the right price, this move could be a banger, especially if the Lakers were also able to get Caruso back and Zach LaVine were to stay healthy. I don't know about you guys, but I'm tired of seeing an almost 39-year-old LeBron James have to try to will this Lakers team to victory only for them to fall short. Remember, the Lakers only want to play LeBron around 29 minutes per game, but this team has been so inconsistent that they've needed every minute that they can get out of him. And guys, we are only in November. What happens when those playoffs roll around and this man doesn't have much left in the tank? And an L to the Sacramento Kings at 38 years old. LeBron would become the second oldest player in NBA history to record a triple-double, while Anthony Davis turned off his motor en route to scoring 9 points on 9 shots. For crying out loud, man, LeBron is 39 years old. He needs more consistency out of players like Anthony Davis and Austin Reeves, who have both been sporadic this season. Lakers fans, what would you be willing to give up to bring Zach LaVine and Alex Caruso to Los Angeles? Would you be willing to give up a package that included Austin Reeves, D'Angelo Russell, Rui Hachimura, or Max Christie? In the comments below, let me know where you would draw the line. Guys, I've been thinking about making a full video on the struggles of Austin Reeves this season for a while now. Let me know if you guys would be interested in something like that down in the comments below. Now, while everybody has been focused on the possibilities of Alex Caruso and Zach LaVine joining the Lakers, it is worth noting that before DeRozan signed with the Bulls, he felt that him going to his hometown of Los Angeles was a done deal. I mean, he is on more of a team-friendly contract than LaVine, and maybe with his contract expiring at the end of the year, there's a chance that he could be had for a very reasonable price. I also see DeMar as somebody that would be willing to take on any role that he would need to succeed in Los Angeles. Don't mind me, guys. I'm just thinking out loud here. Guys, in the comments below, let me know what players from this Bulls squad that you would want on your team. And Bulls fans, let me know how you feel about the prospects of potentially blowing it up and what you would be looking to get back in return. Clicking the video on the screen right now is a great way to support my channel. I'm GetLikeCoop, bringing you guys the scoop until our next upload.